The court is ready for tip-off. The show begins right now.
Welcome to the first episode of 2026 for the court. And, as always, I kind of just take my time and listen to all the stuff that's been going on throughout the NBA season. Things have been crazy thus far with all the news and stuff like that. But the first clip I'm gonna present, the first soundbite was Ime Udoka. This was about a week ago after Houston lost a 13-point lead, and the rest is history. But listen to this Ime Udoka clip, and then I'll give my take on this whole situation.
What went wrong in the fourth quarter? It seemed like you guys were in command heading in.
Take a 37-year-old out of the game for 2 minutes, and you lose a 13-point lead, 11-0 run. That's what went wrong. Don't play with any aggression, confidence, mentally weak, and have a 15-point quarter, 1 for 17 from three. I think a bunch of wide open looks. Making shots help, but you have to guard on one end. You have to play with some aggression on one end, drive it physically, take care of the ball and not turn it over. So all the above. But the fact that we have to rely on a 37-year-old for 40-plus minutes is a problem.
So that was Ime Udoka, basically not impressed with the lead that was given up. Took out KD for a couple minutes. They had a 13-point lead. Portland went on 11-0 run. I watched that fourth quarter, and I was just like, wow. And it wasn't just the lead. To me, it wasn't about the lead being blown. It was the attitude about it, the mannerisms about it. KD, 37, part of that last lineage of old school players who is always ready to play, always ready to give it 100%. He's a rarity now. He's a rarity. Him and LeBron, and there's a few other guys in the league. They're rarities. They're not guys that are going to come in every day with their lunch pail and ready to play. A lot of these guys are not ready to play. They don't want to be ready. And Ime Udoka kind of showing his frustration. He wanted to say more, but he's got to be so careful now in the league that you're one bad press conference away, ask JJ Redick, from losing the team potentially. So you don't want to do that. But at the same time, you have to say something. You have to get through to these players somehow, some way. You cannot win championships by playing that type of basketball. I mean, right now Houston is sitting at 24-15. They're only 5 games out of the top spot in the West. So we'll see how this goes throughout the season with Houston. Houston has a lot of expectations based on picking up KD and all that other stuff and getting rid of guys. Of course, I felt the biggest part of that deal was Dylan Brooks. As you could see now how he's been playing when he really puts it together. And I'm happy for him and all that. Jalen Green is just another whatever. And so, we'll see how this goes with Houston. Next clip I got, next soundbite, Jimmy Butler talks about, what's going on, kind of giving an insight what's going on in Golden State. And then I'll give you guys all my insight of what I believe is going on and what's probably going to happen if this continues.
How would you assess just where y'all are at the halfway point of the season?
Mediocre.
What needs to change?
We need to win more games, lose less games. That's just where we are. I think it's the worst place to be is to be mediocre, because yes, it can go either way, but nobody wants to be just average. Nobody wants to be average.
Jimmy Butler being Jimmy Butler, and I understand where he's coming from with that statement. Your expectation is to win. And Golden State right now, they're going through a lot. And when I say that, there's something missing in Golden State. There's a lot of inconsistencies with players and coaches just not connecting. Draymond and Steve Kerr are arguing more than ever. And then, of course, Jonathan Kuminga a couple days ago basically telling management, man, I've had enough of this, averaging, 24 and a half minutes per game, 11.8 points per game, a 43% field goal percentage. Rebounding, he's averaging 6.2 rebounds. And so, he Jonathan Kuminga is like, yo, man, I'm not playing this role anymore. I'm tired of this. I need to do something. I mean, think about it. Klay Thompson is gone, and you expect somebody to take over that second role. They went out and got Jimmy Butler. And still, you look at Jonathan Kuminga and what he can do. Potentially, you're like, what's going on? Like, why is Steve Kerr not pushing this guy? Is it because of him? Is it because of Steve Kerr? The way I see things with Steve Kerr right now, I think he's losing the locker room. I think he's already lost the locker room. Draymond kind of just brushes him off every time they have a dispute. Steph is just there by himself like, damn, what the hell's happening here? This whole thing is falling apart, and it has nothing to do with me. I'll say this, and I'll say this without any issues. The day Bob Myers says I'm out and they brought in Mike Dunleavy Jr., that's it. It's a wrap. There's nothing else you could say. I mean, let's just look at it. They got rid of Mark Jackson. Most of us know why. Steve Kerr was able to reap the benefits off that. And the well the well has dried. It's dried out. You've maxed out what Mark Jackson started, Steve Kerr, and it's over. And I personally believe it's over for Steve Kerr and Golden State. I think it's time for a reboot when it comes to coaching. Not just Steve Kerr, the entire coaching staff. The entire coaching staff. It's a wrap for Steve Kerr. He has no control over that locker room. Kuminga is probably looking at this like, this guy's never going to allow me to play the game I need to play. I've followed all this guy's protocols. I've done this, I've done that, and he still has me in this position. Nah, I got to get out of here. I don't blame him. Time to get out. Golden State is a mess. They're not the same team, and Steph Curry's got to live in this ish, as we call it, respectfully. So this is the world of sports and how quickly things could change. And, the Golden State era is over. So that's what it is. Next order of business, I got to talk about this guy because I don't know what the hell. And most Laker fans would agree with me when I say this. DeAndre Ayton is just taking up very, very, very valuable time for this franchise. He is absolutely a non-factor on this team. Don't get it twisted with the stats. There are stats and then there are impact players. He is not an impact player at all. He's not. And it shows the other night. There was a game the other night. I'll talk about that. But there was him about a week or so ago, just walking around after Zion took a free throw shot, and he just kind of whatever. Do type of foolishness, and then he got subbed. But people are like, oh, that's the first. No, it's not the first time. He's been doing that. He did that in Phoenix. He was doing it in college too. There were moments in college he just, whatever. But, when you're in college and you're a guy, the habits are tolerated. When your production doesn't meet your habits, eventually the team is going to get sick of you and they're going to want to get rid of you. So it really comes down to how much more can we deal with this guy? Because I think the Lakers are fed up with him. The Laker fans are fed up with him. I think that they're just like over it now with him. So, I mean, in July, the guy signed a deal with the Lakers. Is earning $34 billion this season. And he still plays like he doesn't know what's going on. His attitude is a big part of it. So I just, and this will just segue to what happened the other night. These guys played the Hornets, and LeBron and Luka and the rest of the starting team scored 108 points. And the bench only scored 9. Remember we were talking about LeBron kind of messing up the chemistry. Of course he has. He's a different type of player, but he tries. And unfortunately, with no defense on this team, it shows. You let Charlotte come in there and just kind of wipe the floor with you guys. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you got to keep a close eye on the Lakers situation. And speaking of the Lakers to continue, listen to this from Rich Paul, and I'll talk about this. Everybody's been talking about this. Now I'm going to give you guys my take on this.
If I was the Lakers, I would probably be targeting Jaren Jackson.
For whom?
But this comes with
Austin Reeves.
This comes with a very unemotional attachment because Austin is beloved, which he should be. There's a world where you can do what's best for your team and do what's best for Austin because Austin deserves to get paid. I love him as a Laker, but if we're getting balanced because if you put all the money into just the backcourt, if you can keep Austin, have Jaren some kind of way, have Luka, they're going to take up most of your money. And then I'm not saying
but harder to flex.
Yeah.
So that was a soundbite by Rich Paul talking about trading Austin Reeves. I'm going to make this very smooth, very quick, very easy. Should Rich Paul have a podcast? I don't know. Is Rich Paul in the position to do his own thing? Absolutely. When you're around one of the most impact players in the game may not be now, but it was at a point for a long period of time. You're going to swing your power to whatever you want to do. And he decided podcasting was something he wanted to do, and he did it. He's been doing it. My thing is, you have to be careful on what you say, especially if you're talking about somebody that plays on the same team with your client. I'm just keeping it 100 on that. LeBron is your guy. You guys are boys. And you're talking about trading one of his teammates. There's certain aspects of what you do you have to keep just professional or just not say anything. You have to be cognizant of what you're saying and what you're doing because it can get you in a lot of crap. And he has taken so much criticisms from podcasters, YouTubers, all this. Like, it's been crazy. You know, some people well, you're like, what? And some people you don't, you're like, okay, whatever, who are you? But at the same time, it's just crazy the amount of, flack he's taken. And in his defense on this, he's just trying something, If he had come out and said all the right things from day one, we wouldn't even be talking about him in his podcast. He wouldn't get the life he wanted with it. He would still get the life with it if there was nobody advertising him or talking about him. But he's going to do what he wants to do. He just has to be careful what he says. If Drew Rosenhaus was doing a podcast, who's a very powerful agent, by the way, in football, you think anybody would say anything? Probably not. It would be a lot less complaints and noise and all that if it was Drew Rosenhaus. So, again, it's all about who, what, when, where, why, and the system. That's what it boils down to. So, that's my take on that. I just feel like some people got way too emotional about it. A lot of it is understandable, and I do understand and respect, but there's certain things that's like, really? Come on. Not now. So, that's what it is. And speaking of another thing that I want to talk about, The other day, I think the Hornets benched LaMelo, and LaMelo ended up scoring. I don't even know what it was. I'm trying to remember how many points he scored. He scored a plethora of points, if I can remember. And it just looked like LaMelo's like, okay, you guys want to bench me? All right, cool. No problem. So they currently sit in, 13 and 25 in the East. It's like, okay, whatever. We're going to go through this crap again. I think LaMelo Ball could play basketball. I think he knows what he's doing. And I just think, like, maybe in the right situation, he'll be able to succeed better. So it's going to be very interesting, especially with all the news that I'm talking about right now. You know, more focused on the teams and playoff time. Things could change in a hurry in the NBA. So, and in pro basketball. So, anyways, folks, that's it. I'm calling it a night, or calling it a day, calling it an afternoon, or whatever time zone you're at. I'm shutting off. This is another edition of The Court. And for those that are listening, thank you very much for listening. I'm signing off. Peace.